some reason today it's too hot to be outside. So let's make some soup. Hot summer day, nothing like soup, right? Okay, I'm going to start with onions. These onions are sort of small, so I'm using 2. I think you'll like this soup. It sort of has a surprise. I had it at a restaurant. A friend of mine worked there and told me what the secret ingredient was in the soup. It was delicious. Basically, it's a beef noodle soup, if you will. And noodles are orzo. You know, that small noodle. And the secret ingredient is dill. Then when you think about it, dill goes very well with tomatoes. It's not a tomato based, it's beef based. However, you use tomatoes in it. And so that's the ingredient. And again, I don't, for you, I don't have how much I put in. When it comes to soup, this is how Dad did it. He just sort of dumped. And that's sort of what I do too. So I hope you like the recipe. It's worth trying. Even if you don't like dill, you really won't know that it's dill. It'll be sort of like when I made that meatloaf, you think, oh, what is that? You can't quite put your, unless you have very good taste buds. So because I don't care how big onions are, if you have, I just sort of chunk them. They cook down. If you have, kids or a husband that doesn't like it, like big chunks, then you can dice them small. I do not do that though. So in my pot I have, I started out with some olive oil in there. Use any beef you want. I just happen to have ground beef. So that's what I'm going to use. You could use chuck roast, beef stew. But I do like ground meat, so I tend to use that a lot. Guess it would be better to use a bigger cutting board, but this tends to be my vegetable. Salt, pepper. I figure, people can salt at the table. But as you get older with blood pressure issues and things like that, I've always gone lightly on the salt. That's good. Now we'll bring that up. We'll brown our meat. I don't know if you have one of these. This is how I break up my ground meat. It was a gift. I don't know where you get them, but I'm here to tell you. It's a game changer. Now with this recipe, you could use as little or as much meat as you want. If this was my father making a pot of soup like this, there would probably be 2 to 3 pounds of ground meat in it. I like a brothy soup. I'm not much of a meat eater anymore. So I tend to just put a pound in. going to start with 4 cups of water. I use a bouillon. Usually I use whatever I have on hand. At this point I just have a dried bouillon. It's 1 teaspoon per cup, so there's 4 teaspoons going in. 4. I'm going to put 2 cans of tomato sauce in. You could use, chunks of tomatoes. You could use crushed tomatoes. But I'm going to just use tomato sauce today. I find that a lot of people don't like chunks of tomatoes in their soup. So to be honest, I make enough to freeze. If people are sick, I can take it over to them. So I just have gotten into the habit of using a tomato sauce. Now with all that liquid in it, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna do 4 more cups of water. When I add that orzo, it's going to absorb a lot of the moisture. The soup is simmered on low with a lid on, and now I'm going to add the dill. Now that's quite a handful. And then we'll let that, stir that in. This is dried dill. I've never done it with the fresh dill from outside. We're going to test the seasoning of the soup with some of this bread. And I'm just going to squirt some spray butter on this. And then stick them in the oven. Throw those in the oven and watch them. They look nice. Okay, there we have our croutons. This is what it looks like over cheesy noodles. I'm going to throw a couple of now these are leftover noodles. Throw in a couple of homemade croutons I made. Now let's give it a try. There's steam coming off it, so it's going to be hot. I like it with that leftover noodles. Slightly different taste, still great. A lot of times you have all these leftovers and you don't know what to do with them. And look, I created a new meal. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. If you like my content, please like and subscribe.